Welcome to the Tramway Theatre Glasgow and to this unique Scottish tournament. You join us at the final stage, being the best of 17 frames between Reardon and Stephen Hendry. At the moment, the players are taking a brief recess before returning to the table. That gives us a few minutes to bring you up to date on events so far. This was the scene at frame 12, Stephen at the table, leading by 8 frames to 3. At this stage, Stephen giving the impression of being unstoppable. Only one more frame would win the match. There is, of course, a lot of tension in the air on an occasion like this. The sort of tension that can force errors on you. This was a case in point. A nasty miss on the blue, which let Ray back into play. And after potting that yellow, Ray cleared the table to win the frame at 4-8. Then on he went to pot the balls in masterly fashion. And after laying this snooker and winning the next frame, he continued his magnificent run to bring the score almost level at 7 frames to 8. At this point, there were a possible 43 points on the table for Ray to win the frame and level the score. But could he do it? He needed these reds and all the colours. The audience hushed in rapt attention as Ray Reardon puts in all the experience of a 4 times in succession world champion, a record so far unequalled. Stephen Hendry looks on, regretting that earlier slip-up on the blue. And it's there. Ray does it, bringing the score to 8 frames all. Frame 17, Ray Reardon to break. And having won the last 5 frames in succession, Ray starts to pile on the pressure. A good safety shot from Stephen there. He's not allowing Ray any chances. Both players are trying to avoid opening things up. A safety shot there from Ray, but unfortunately not one of his best. It's a tense time this for both players. The concentration clearly visible on both their faces. This was quite incredible. Something of a disturbance in the hall. Somebody in there with a Walkman. Absolutely unforgivable. Obviously it didn't help Stephen's concentration one bit. He seemed to regain his composure all right though. If you're just joining us, this is the Clydeside Classic from Glasgow. The final frame about to start. Meantime, we're rounding up the action from earlier in the match. Frame 17, and it's 8 frames each to Ray Reardon and Stephen Hendry. Ray at the table. Missed cue from Stephen Hendry, getting himself into all sorts of trouble. Perhaps a delayed reaction to the disturbance we had earlier on. Anyway, he's not at all happy with himself. But there's everything still to play for. Ray Reardon now back at the table. And he added a further 31 points to his score, which put him into a very commanding position. The pressure telling on both players now. What a moment for that to happen. A nasty kick on the yellow for Ray. So can Stephen pull the match back? He has to take full advantage here. Ray is in an almost invincible position. You have to wonder what's going through the minds of these players at moments like this. Ray may be Mr. Experience, but he still feels the tension. Stephen Hendry has potted the yellow. He's seen off the green. And there goes the brown. Something seemed to be bothering Stephen Hendry a little at this point. Potting that blue made it certain this match was heading for a very unusual situation. This is a crucial point in the match. If Stephen pots the pink and the black, the score will be level. And the black is in. The scores are equal. That means a re-spotted black to decide the match. In the final of the World Championship back in 1983 between Steve Davis and Cliff Thorburn, Steve Davis clinched the match on a re-spotted black, though he was actually way ahead anyway, 17 frames to Cliff Thorburn's 6. What a day this has been. All sorts of upsets in this final. Who could predict the outcome of this rather unusual match? Well, play is due to resume any minute now. We've had magnificent play from Ray Reardon to come back from being 5 frames down. Stephen Hendry, with the honour of Scotland at stake, is showing a maturity beyond his years. We now join this concluding session with a re-spotted black to decide the final. I wonder what Ray must be thinking now. His 22 years as a professional must accustom him to the kind of high drama that snooker can produce. I can't help thinking he'd rather be on the golf course just now. And Stephen Hendry, well, he's got it all to play for. Both men now needing to summon up every ounce of concentration. Long hours at the table through the opening rounds must take their toll. Can they keep their minds focused at this stage? They must be praying for the sound of that black ball dropping into the pocket.
And it's all over. Stephen Hendry has come through. The audience, along with the rest of us, applaud in appreciation of the great entertainment both players have given us. And that's it, the end of a memorable Clydeside Championship. From me, Charles Nove, and all here at the Tramway Theatre in Glasgow. Goodbye.